We're looking also at Harry Kane. He had some chances. He got himself 2 goals during the course of the match. You do wonder about his future, Jamie, because if they don't get the Champions League football, he's not getting any younger. He's technically in the prime of his career.
I mean, listen, you're talking about a world-class striker who deserves to be playing in the elite tournaments, Champions League. He deserves to be winning trophies. You know, where are Spurs without Harry Kane? I mean, to me, we're a nothing side without him. He's the only player that looks like he can do something special every time he walks on a football pitch. And look, you have to raise question marks about whether we, as a club, should be allowed to keep a player of him, you know, of that ability. You know, he's too good for Spurs at the moment. It's just, you know, the players are just not good enough. They're just not at his level. And, you know, you're going to see Man City looking to sign a number 9. You know, Real Madrid are going to be looking at signing players. You know, and he has to be someone on your list with, you know, with your Haalands and your Mbappes.
But Jamie, the names you just mentioned are substantially younger than Harry Kane. So in the case of Erling Haaland, he's 20. He'll be 21 later this year, and he has a buyout clause next season, next summer, of around, I think, 50 million-ish. Harry Kane, if it's to be believed, would be going for 150 million. Now, Erling Haaland, if anyone wants to buy him, according to reports, would cost the same amount before the buyout clause is activated next year. So surely, who would want to take Harry Kane above Haaland, given their age?
If you want guaranteed win the Premier League title for the next 3 or 4 seasons, like a Manchester City, you sign Harry Kane. He's doing it week in, week out in the Premier League. He scores, he's top goal scorer, he's top assists. He does it in the Premier League every week. All right, he might pick up a few injuries, but if you're Manchester City and you go, right, we want to sign a player where we're going to win the league, we're going to win the league every season for the next 3 or 4 seasons, like Pep Guardiola is going to want to do, you sign Harry Kane. If you want to play for the next 10 years with Haaland and you're talking about someone who's, you know, you build a team around him as you go forward as a football club, then fine. But if you want guaranteed success for the next 3 seasons, Harry Kane's your man.
Michelle, what do you reckon about that? Because Erling Haaland, every club he's been at, he's just stepped up. And in the Champions League as well, I should add.
Yeah, no, listen, he's a great talent, obviously. But I think exactly what Jamie is saying, like Harry showed, especially if you just obviously look in the Premier League, he showed year after year that he's the best striker in the league. With, let's say, with Aguero over the last 5-6 years, you know, and with obviously with Haaland, massive talent, you know, and he will get there at one point. But and he never played in the Premier League, so that's also a different competition. You can't compare it with the Bundesliga or even not with La Liga. So I think that's also a thing. So if I was Man City, for me it was a no-brainer. Obviously the money is if we believe the reports, it's a lot, but he will give you guaranteed goals and winning titles in the Premier League if you look at.
You know, if you look at Timo Werner, right, he come over from Germany. Everyone was talking about he's going to be the next big thing, scoring goals. He was unbelievable for Leipzig. No disrespect to the German league, but the Premier League's a different kettle of fish. And Harry Kane is doing it week in, week out. No doubt, Haaland will come over here and will be able to do that as well. But if you want guaranteed Premier League star quality, doing it week in, week out, who knows it, who knows what you're going to get every week, it's Harry Kane.
But Jamie, would they splash the cash, Manchester City? If you look at their most expensive signings, I know we are all aware that they are backed by a heavy investment, but Rodri is their most expensive player, £63.6 million. If they were to get Harry Kane, who's in his late 20s, and if the reports are to be believed, there'll be an additional £90 million to get him on top of...
But they've never... But since Aguero, they've never had to sign a number 9 because they've always had Sergio Aguero. Your number 9 is your most important player on the football pitch. He's the guy that wins you titles. Aguero's leaving, so now the time has come with the inflation of transfer fees. The number 9 is always going to be your most expensive player. They haven't had to do that for years because Aguero's been there. Now they do. So
But to
you
be
have
honest,
to,
if they
you have to
ask
spend the money.
150 million for Harry Kane, I don't think in this day and age that's gonna happen. To be honest, 150 million pounds. So I don't, you know, you never know with Daniel Levy, obviously, but I think if City really wants him, they will make sure they can afford him.
And Pep Guardiola did come out to say, I think it was on Friday, that they're not going to be out to splash the cash. It is a COVID season. Clubs have suffered financially. Do you believe him, Jamie? Do you believe him when he says that? And then if that's the case, who can afford
of course.
Harry Kane?
Of course, yeah. Listen, you have to agree with him to a certain degree because of COVID and, you know, all the strain that football clubs have been under. But why is he going to come out when the season's still playing and upset the apple cart with the players that he's already got? You're not going to come out and say, I want to sign a number 9, because how do you think Gabriel Jesus is going to feel? How do you think the other strikers at the football club are going to feel? He doesn't need to come out and say anything. He's going to back them questions down like he's done his whole time, you know, because he's always going to get asked a question now because Aguero's leaving. But he knows, and we all know, that Pep Guardiola is going to want to sign a top number 9 in the summer. That's a fact.
Let's make some predictions. Come September, when the next transfer window closes and the season has already started, Michelle, first, do you expect Harry Kane, given the price tag, given who can afford him, given who Daniel Levy will want to sell to or not sell to, will he still be in the white of Spurs, or will he be wearing the colours of another side? What do you reckon? Your prediction?
My prediction, if they really, if it's really going to be 150 mil, I think he's not going nowhere, if you ask me.
All right, Jamie, same to you.
I think he's going to leave Spurs this summer. I think he will be at the last day of the transfer window, knowing how Spurs do dealings with Daniel Levy. He will wait and wait and wait to get the most money that he can. I can't see Harry Kane being at Spurs next season, not in that team, and not the way that Spurs are going forward.